Hello and welcome to the April 2019 update from Clydebridge station. Now, no rolling stock has been bought for the layout this month, so instead all I've done is scenic work, constructed something, albeit not very well, and finished off something from 10 Commandments and a couple other general bits of work. So what I'll do is I'll talk you through what it is that I've done and what I'm planning to do in the next month as well. Any comments, queries or suggestions, please do leave them in the comments box below. Down on platforms 4 and 5 you can see that I've not only laid this ballast now, but it's all been glued down, and as you can see it has stained a little bit. As you look at that, that's not a bad thing, to be honest with you, because obviously you will get grime from trains when you actually reach stations. To tell you the truth, what actually happened was that the water that I used for this came out of my water butt, or one of my water butts, and that's probably why you've got some of that staining on it. But that's not a bad thing, as I say. Although I'm not going to be weathering the track, what I am actually going to use eventually is the Hatton's oil spill kit that David Watson has used at Dean Park Station, and I'll give you a full review of that when I do get around to actually getting it, which will be some time from now. But the ballast here has actually been glued down now, and it means that platform roads 4 and 5 are starting to be complete. What's still not been done on platforms 1, 2, 3 and 4 are the edging strips there. They're not all the way up, so that's going to be the next job for those platforms. It does not mean that all the buffer stop areas are done on the station, because you can see here just slightly on platform 6 a little bit is done, so that's still more that's got to get worked upon. The plan obviously is to ballast probably up to the platform ends on each of the platform roads, because obviously I've still got signals and gantries to put in, so I can't actually go the whole hog yet. And also next month, I'm hoping the next couple of months, I've also got to put walling on here, so that's another task to be done. But the buffers are now all completed, and the buffer stops are now all painted, so the station area is now taking on a bit more shape. I've also decided about what I'm going to do here, because this bit here I wasn't sure what to do with it, but what I've decided is this could actually just be kept as an extra opening, so if the ticket office was closed for any reason, like it's at night time the ticket office is shut, this entrance here would still be open to allow people to come in and out, and this bit here, this bit here would just be fenced off. I've got 6 brute trolleys, and what I'm going to do with 2 of these brute trolleys, you can see they're blue. They're all 6 of them are blue. These are Bachmann ones. I know that 10 Commandments sell roll cages, about £4 odds a cage, which you then have to build yourself using super glue. What I'm going to try and do to make these WH Smith cages instead is I'm going to experiment with one of them and paint it using grey, the same grey that's on the buffer stops, and just see if that how that turns out. So it's a little cunning plan that I have, so that's something that I'm going to actually do very much in the future. Just before I go on to what's been done here and explain a bit more about it, a couple of shout outs that I'll do right now for you for other layouts that are on YouTube. And I'll give a quick shout out to a gentleman on Twitter called Network Southeast Latchmere. Follow his tweets and I'm pretty sure you'll like them. And also another quick shout out is to one that's on YouTube, Ulton TMD, set in Leicestershire. So please check them out, won't you? Now the work that I've done on the platform ends of the layout has been quite a couple of things that I've done. You can see I've got the walkway in position here, and I'll have to do another bit over here and over the tracks. And these are in position almost here, and these have been painted now, These will get painted that same colour. I'll have to get them put into position with glue eventually. It's just PVA glue I'm using, by the way. This is already glued down. The reason I've not been able to put anything in the middle there of these bits is simply because the ballast is not glued down, or there is no ballast into position yet, so that's why I can't actually put bits in the middle of the tracks like that. I have to wait until I've got everything else glued down ballast wise before I can do that. And obviously, as I've already explained, I'm a long way away from actually reaching the ballasting stage at this side of the end of the layout. Another thing I need to just point out to everybody right now, and it's quite important, is for this bit here, and obviously when I get the bit crossing over the track here, there's going to be a pathway that will lead up and round and probably come out there. So it'll need me to fill this bit gap in here, and this will just be a pathway into the depot area for staff. I know there's a small pathway there as well, but how far that path goes and where it will go is obviously dependent upon the cable trunking. It's going to have to come round like that, so there's quite a few things to take into consideration here. Now, while I'm down here as well at the track side, I've actually installed a couple more dropper wires just in there, so it gives more power to this side of the layout. I've not got the power to the track actually switched on at the moment, but it does give you an idea of the scale of the work you have to do when you're installing DCC. I'm quite happy with how things have turned out there, and it does actually mean that I could ballast in theory up to this point here. I'm not going to, I'm going to wait a wee while because, as I say, I've got to keep carrying on round there. I had an X mark there for a signal, but obviously there's not going to be any room for a signal there now, so that, because of the overhang of the coaches, so that idea has been ruled out. But in terms of dropper wires, that's the main ones there. Back in the February arrivals video, I showed you this product from 10 Commandments that I'd bought at Model Rail Scotland, and as you can, and I explained to you what I was going to do with it, and you can see this is it now finished. It's the back of a branch of B&Q, and that is the logo that was used by B&Q in the period that this layout is set in 1990. That was actually, I believe, the logo that the company launched with in 1968. Fact fans, if you're interested, B&Q stands for Block and Quayle, after the surnames of the two companies' founders, Richard Block and David Quayle. So that's actually the back of the B&Q, and I've painted the fire exit door grey rather than the more safety conscious red or yellow, because again, this was 1990, safety precautions weren't as much as what they are now. So in the near future, I'll be buying another one of them to put further along here to simulate the back side of a branch of Halfords, or the back of a branch of Halfords. And there'll be plywood going along this bit here, and it'll be painted blue. And this problem I've got here with the cork underlay, you've seen it on that, I'm going to just use plain sheets of plastic card and glue them down and then paint them a sort of grey colour. But I'm going to experiment by putting some of this down as well, first of all, and painting it a grey colour if I can get it smooth enough, and see if I can get the same sort of effect, because this will just be the fire exits. And you'll notice these are not actually glued into position either, it's not glued into position. The other thing that I've done is actually over here, and I'm going to have to zoom in to let you see it. What I've done is, not terribly well, I have to admit, rather pathetically it would appear. Look at that. Don't ask me to wallpaper your house, please, I'm not good at it. This is actually a Co-op supermarket that I've made. It's just simply been cut out, scrap bits of plywood that I've cut, and I've nailed it together, plastic roof tiles, and this is a shop front that I bought and made up you're supposed to use polystyrene cement. The white staining you see there is because I went and used super glue. I'm going to try and see if I can remove that by using nail varnish remover. If it does work, it should make it look a lot better. Again, the Co-op logo is actually that it was used in the period the layout was set in 1990, and indeed the Co-op now use that logo. But what I might do is paint all this area around here white, possibly. I'm not decided fully on that yet, but possibly paint that whole area white in order to make it brighten it up a bit. Possibly brown on the roof. Again, not fully decided upon that yet, but that might be what I end up doing. It's not glued in this bit, as you can see there, so and it is rather flimsy how I've done it. But that is basically the Clydebridge supermarket of the Co-op. What I'll actually end up doing here is trying to get a shelter made up that looks like a trolley bay, and I'll have to actually put a fence in around here because that's actually a bit low, that bit walling there. I made this house a bit too high, so what I'm going to do is put a bit of fencing up along here that'll protect people from falling onto the track and objects, and I might end up doing the same thing here as well. And if I actually zoom this back out a bit, and you can see the other problem is I've still got the gaps in between there and there, so they'll get filled in with car body repair filler and then painted a sort of dark grey colour, sort of blend in and make it like joins in the brickwork. Speaking of car body repair filler, that's what's going to have to happen here soon as well. I'll make this into 2 extra car parking spaces, but I'll have to get filler in there, smooth it off and then paint it black. Now when we're talking about cars and that, it reminds me of Everard Junction here on YouTube. He's been doing some more scenic work, including ballasting, but check out one of his other videos where he's actually went and created a car auction area as well. Quite fascinating, and the vehicles he's recovered from his old layout, Everard Junction Mark 1. Also check out double-o-rail.com and Newcastle Central. Both of them are set in the same era, the BR sectorisation area that was explained in video number 24. More ballasting work has been done down here at the depot, and as you can see under 47436 we've actually got a wee bit ballast laid at the fueling point on the locomotive reception road. One problem that I did do, and it's a big mistake I made, was that when I ballasted I had the buffer stop up for painting. I should have actually painted the buffer stop and then put it down and then ballasted. It meant I had a hell of a job getting it on. I had to scrape away some ballast. So, important lesson that I've learnt there, which I'll use for the other buffer stops, is I'll get them painted first and then get them put back onto the layout before I ballast. That way it should be that way it'll all look realistic, because when I run 47436, first of all, incredibly, I went and actually failed to stop the loco in time. It pushed the buffer stop out up to here, and it ended up nearly going right down out through the shed. Oh dear. So that's what I'm going to have to watch for in future, and that's an important lesson for everybody else. Make sure that you paint your buffer stops and apply them onto the layout before you ballast. I've also glued down this little building here, which is just going to be a storage hut, and that way the ballast that's here will go right round it, and it'll be painted grey, that, by the way. That's going to end up getting painted the grey that's actually on here, because as I say, the plan is that all of this will end up being covered. So that's what I've done there. If you actually are interested in your TMDs and that, and you see there also I've done no work at all in the depot area. Dean Park Station, David Watson, who has just recently turned a year older, and he won't thank me for saying that, has done a few videos showing progress on the TMD, so keep a watch out, look for him, Dean Park Station. if you're having problems trying to plan out your layout and that, Charlie Bishop at Chadwick TMD, he's set in the 1970s. He's got some good tips for you on that as well. So go and check out Charlie Bishop at Chadwick TMD. Things that I'm going to be trying to do over the next month. Well, first of all, on the weekend of May the 11th and 12th, it's the Glenrothes Model Railway Show, which is held at the Lomond Centre in Glenrothes. And I'll actually be doing a video from that show, showing the layouts that are going to be there. If you remember, I visited it last year and took some inspiration, so that's actually going to be plans again, that I'll be visiting that on Sunday the 12th of May, and I'll hopefully have the video up the following week for you, showing you what's been happening at the layout. And there's somebody out with a hammer, showing you what's been happening on these layouts, and hopefully it gives you some inspiration for your own layouts as well. In addition to that, for those of you who live in the Midlands, that very same weekend is the Derby Model Railway Show, and I do believe that 10 Commandments, who are based here in Fife and Inverkeithing, are actually going to be attending that show, so check them out as well if you can. Let's go through some of the other things that I'm going to be doing this month as well, and I'm just going to point you here. This is not going to be a co-op any longer because I've moved it over there. So you see this here, this is I bought 2 packs of the slate roofing when I was at Dingwall, when I was on holiday with my friends at Inverness, and I've got 1 pack that's totally unused. So what I'm thinking about doing is getting a model railway colour, probably that sort of colour, beige, and painting this beige. And then what we'll do is we'll put that on there, it'll get glued on, and I'm going to do what I was going to do on the old layout, Glasgow City, and make a shopping side of a shopping centre. It'll be called the Commonwealth Shopping Centre. I've still got the signage on my laptop in the house. So that's what I'm actually aiming to do there, and it'll just tidy that up a bit, make it look a bit better, and the signage will actually get stuck onto smooth plastic card. I've got to try and get some more signals, probably 2 more, because I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put one of the signals here, one will go there, and these 2 lines will be covered by a signal gantry. So this is things that I'm hoping to do in the next month or so. Paint these walkways into position as they're glue them into position and paint them. And after that, it'll be a case of trying to get this car park area sorted. Now, a lot's going to depend upon what I can actually get at the Glenrothes Model Railway Show, and if I can get more of this Wills cable trunking, I'll be able to get it all the way around here, and a couple of more junction boxes, because I don't want to start scenic work here until I've got the cable trunking into position. I'll also need to get the junction boxes into position, the relay boxes, and any associated cabling. And I'm also looking to try and get a Bachmann Mark 1 BG in blue and grey livery, and that'll mean that the parcels train will be completed as well. And then we can actually say that we're finally getting somewhere with rolling stock. So obviously that's what I would like to try and achieve next month. But that's what I've been doing in the last month that you've seen me. So the next video you see on this channel should be when I've been at the Glenrothes Model Railway Show. I'll have the camera out. And if there's any of you who are watching this channel who know me and you've seen my face before and you're attending the Model Railway Show on the Sunday, if you do see me, pop over and say hello to me, and I'll say hello back to you as well. And if I happen to recognise any of you there, I'll say hello to you as well. So that's all from this month's update at Clydebridge Station. Thank you very much for watching, and please watch the layouts that I've recommended to you as well, and I shall see you soon. Goodbye for now.